Welcome back, YouTube. Just thought I'd give you an update on my 3-point hitch project for the Cockshutt Model 40. I mentioned in a previous video that these were kind of factory equipped with provisions for a 3-point hitch, but they really didn't come with a 3-point hitch. There were aftermarket manufacturers at the time. I think M&W was the primary one that would have made a 3-point hitch add-on kit that you could buy and assemble yourself. But from the factory, they basically just came with remote hydraulics. So you had the tank, the onboard tank, and the valve, and that's about it. Most of these were set up for remotes. So if you're pulling an implement that had some sort of hydraulic power on it, you could put a breakaway coupler and power it with the onboard valve. But these did have provisions, so they had some casting features that allowed you to fit a rock shaft, and then they have some bolt provisions in the casting up by the clutch pedal, where you can put a hard point for the business end of the cylinder. And then if you bought a kit, you would have a rock shaft with a linkage that goes down to the other end of the cylinder, as well as a lower attachment for your hitch platform. So where that would have had pins, category 1 pins for your lower links. Okay, so I think on the original M&W version of this, from what I've seen, they have more cast parts, and I think they're actually implemented a little bit differently, but it's pretty much the same. And I kept the dimensions really similar. I was able to model this off of a 540 tractor, another 540 tractor that my grandpa has, so I got the dimensions pretty much pretty close to what they need to be. So in the true spirit of maximum effort, I ended up having to make my own parts, because sourcing these is damn near impossible. I've been to a lot of tractor shows, and I have yet to see a Model 40 that actually had what I would consider like a factory original or an original M&W style 3-point kit, right? Everything I have seen that had a functional 3-point was all some kind of homebrew, homemade thing. So I'm making my own. It's all made out of 836 plate, so this is all done through like a laser cut service that I use locally, so it was pretty reasonably priced and makes for pretty easy welding, and your parts come out really dimensionally accurate. So this would be the hard point for the cylinder that goes up under the platform there. It's got two pins, or 2-pin positions for the cylinder attachment that just goes in with a regular old hitch pin. It's bolted in to the frame with some grade 8 7/16 bolts. And then I have a rock shaft that I'm going to have fabricated out of I think that's 1 3/4 solid 836. And this lower is also kind of the same thing. It's 1 3/4 836. It's all solid shaft. So once I get this has to get cut to length, right? I need to center it, get it within the dimensions I want from a width perspective. And then I can get this all spotted in, tighten all this stuff up, and then tack weld these, and then it becomes one monolithic unit. But before I do that, I've got to take this up to the machine shop and get it bored and tapped for your standard category 1 hitch pin. Okay, so that's basically that. There's some other features on here. There's like some tabs and stuff for sway chains and stuff like that, but this is kind of the business end of it. All the other parts are pretty much off the shelf. So anything involving linkages can be sourced pretty much through most tractor part stores or tractor dealerships, right? So I've got a nice leveler link. This is like a crank style leveler link, so so you can adjust each side. They both have height adjustment on them. Just one of them, that would be your leveling link, it has a crank on it, so you can kind of do it fairly easily live on the tractor without having to take any parts apart. And these are kind of nice ones. They have these little swivel trunnions, so they kind of look the part. So there's those lower links. Again, pretty easy. You can get those at like most tractor parts stores. And my top link is my top link's hydraulic. I don't have it in here to show you, but again, you can get all that stuff pretty easily. As far as the rock shaft goes, I've got that solid piece. I've got to get it turned down to fit these brass bushings that I was able to source. And these just got pressed in. These got pressed into the castings, and they have some holes drilled into them so you can grease them. But that diameter needs to be very precisely machined to fit those bores. And then on the ends of that cross shaft, when it goes in there, I've got these would be like the lift points on the rock shaft, and these are just a bunch of stacked plates. Again, A36 plate that was all laser cut out, and they have these square features, so the ends of the shaft get milled for a square detail. This just slides over the end, and it'll get cross bolted in two places, so that way you can basically just make that pinch joint, and that's what secures those to the rock shaft. So these are pretty cool. There's a left and a right. They're actually not sided. They're pretty much the same part, so it's kind of idiot proof that way. And then my lift cylinder, I got this from Prince Hydraulic. It's a nice, like, I think it's either an 8 or a 10-inch tie rod cylinder. Either way, I know it's appropriately sized for the for the tractor, or the space I have available in the tractor. And then some more cutout parts. The linkage, this goes up to the shaft that connects to the cylinder. This is actually free float, so this doesn't get attached in any way. This free floats like a pivot, and then these kind of like sector looking brackets, these would get welded to the rock shaft. So as the rock shaft rolls, this is free to rotate about this pivot, but then you have a reaction pin. So I guess the benefit of this is that it gives you plus or minus 15 degrees of adjustment, so that way you can fine-tune the position of your lift links if needed, right? So if you got to go real low to the ground, you can do it. If you want to jack it up a little bit higher, if you're doing like fork truck work, you can do it just by pulling a pin and changing the position of your cylinder. Pretty straightforward stuff there. I'd say in total this wasn't too bad. It's like a couple $100 in the steel. I think that's really and I mean, the steel itself is maybe a third of the cost. You know, the price is in all the components. So the cylinder and the top link cylinder and the valve, the 2-position valve I got, really are the bulk of the cost on this project. So I'm looking forward to getting this done. I'll probably post another video as soon as I get some of these parts back from the machine shop, show how it all bolts together, and looking forward to making this a real usable tractor. The one part I didn't mention, but I did mention in another video, was also the top link bracket. So this had to be fabricated as well. So this guy is clearly not factory, but again, same kind of situation, just flat plates, A36, all welded up, and this gives you your multi-position adjustments for the top link on the 3-point. That's pretty much it. Until next time, YouTube, I will see you later. Have a good night.